Good afternoon, all. Good afternoon, all.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
My voice is audible or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Voice is... Just a second. Okay, so book PDF is visible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, the same thing. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
लोगों का voice मुझे क्यों नहीं आ रहा है ऐसे? Okay, so today we'll start your a new chapter, that is your object-oriented programming. Okay, so this is your chapter 12. Okay, and your introduction to Java language in your chapter 10, then language, syntax and elements of language, that is in your chapter 11. Okay, so whatever we'll study in your object-oriented programming in chapter 10, the same things are there. Okay. Same the concept, polymorphism, inheritance, all the object-oriented principle, and along with that, how to install Java, JDK, JRE, all those things. Okay. So in chapter 11, it is syntax, what are the data types, means it's from starting from the scratch like that. So it's the chapter 11. So I'll start chapter 12, and whatever new things or extra things are required from chapter 10 and 11, that I'll include in your chapter 12. Okay, you can go through this chapter 10 and 11, and nothing new are there that you already know in your first semester and second semester, and whatever the concept I'll feel that this concept you should know, or these are the new things you should know. So while I'm teaching you chapter 12, I'll take all those concepts and things in your chapter 12. Okay. So we start from chapter 12. This is the combination of you may think this is the combination of chapter 10, 11 and 12. but the sequence will follow from chapter 12. Okay, am I audible clearly?
Yes, ma'am.
Abhishek, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am, you're
sir.
audible.
One problem is that my voice is audible to you, but your voice is not so clearly audible to me. Okay. Okay, first thing. So while a programming language developed, okay, first concept arose, that is your monolithic programming. Okay. Then from monolithic it is object oriented programming. By verb, you kept your video on and you left from that place. By verb, am I audible? Okay, fine. Monolithic programming means means that is your line by line programming. Okay, in one program we are putting everything, so there is no separation. There is no particular structure that is not structured. Okay. So when the program size grows, so it becomes confusing and complex. Okay. Uh, in the point of view error finding, or in point of view of to modify the program. So in every respect it becomes complex. Okay. So for that reason, that programming structure is developed to your procedural oriented programming. Okay. So procedural oriented programming. What is the example of procedural oriented programming? Somyasri, example of procedural oriented programming. Dia, Somya,
Yes, ma'am.
example of any procedural oriented language. If anybody knows, can respond. Arnav, Arnav Sarkar. Okay, C is one procedural oriented programming language. Okay, so why C is called your procedural oriented programming language? Because in because in C we give emphasis on the procedure. Okay, we give emphasis on the procedure means how to do. Okay, suppose you have means we give emphasis on the methods. If this is a program, then what are the main methods of this program? Like if you are organizing one party, then what are the main functionalities? What are the main events that you have to handle? Okay. So welcoming the guest, then the catering, then so like that. So how to book the hotel or the venue like that. So what are the main events? Okay, so we can say these are the functional modules. So your procedural oriented programming mainly emphasizes what are the main functionality of this program. If you are doing a calculation, or if you are developing one calculator, then what are the methods? Okay, the addition, subtraction, division, all those. Then how to clear it. Then how to get the history. So all those are the functionalities. So in a procedural oriented, we mainly focus on what are the functionalities and what are the methods. Then the main demerit with that, the main point of any program or the main thing of any program is your data. Okay, it doesn't give emphasis to the data. So that's so in procedural oriented programming, what happens? There are maybe the chances of data corruption or data modification. Okay, so we can declare the data globally, and that data can be accessed from any program. Okay, so to give emphasis to the data. Okay, another thing, you are declaring one data globally and 100 methods are there. So 100 methods can access that data, and according to the requirement, suppose in one method you need that data type should be double type. Okay, so uh, uh, let's say one new project developer joined that project, and he thought that this should be according to one method. He thought that it should be double type, and if you change the data integer type to double type, then again rest of the methods for that rest of the methods may not require that data type, or may show some incompatible or error for the, like that. So when again for the same reason in different methods different error will come. Okay, then you have to find out that global data is used in which methods, that you have to find again. Okay, so all sort of demerits or drawbacks are there with procedural oriented programming. So there is no clear cut visualization that these data are used by only these methods, and data should be kept hidden, and it should give the user should know only the required features. Okay, like this some demerits are there. So looking at all those demerits, so they go further to next type of language structure, that is called the object oriented programming. Okay, so in case of your oriented programming, everything is viewed as one object. Okay. So every real world entity that is used for programming is viewed as one object. Okay. So object is nothing but your combination of that data and methods. So object is one instance of the class. Then what is the class again? Class is the blueprint of the object. Okay. Class is the blueprint of the object. So what do you mean by your class is the blueprint of the object? So what your object will contain, that view your class gives to you. Okay. Like before making any building, like a house, first you have to make the blueprint of that. Okay. So then you build on that. So your blueprint doesn't occupy the actual real world space. Okay, that is in your pen and paper. But when you are building the house, that occupies the space. Similarly, your object occupies the space, and what your object will contain, that your class gives that view. Okay. So in object-oriented programming, everything is viewed as one object. So keeping the object as the main unit, so the whole program is based on or developed on that object. Okay. So in object-oriented programming, uh, some principles or some features are there, so that you already know. This is already the revision. And if you have some doubt, then you also may ask. So what are the features of your object-oriented programming. So the principles are your, so any object-oriented, Java is one object-oriented programming. Similarly, different object-oriented programmings are there. So in all object-oriented programming, four principles are common. That is your uh, encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism. Okay, so these are the principles, or these are the features of your object-oriented programming. So in object-oriented programming, we are studying or discussing your Java. Okay, and according to this book, the front end we discussed. Now for the back end language, we are discussing this Java language. Okay. Now, what is, so now we'll discuss one by one the features of object-oriented programming. The first one is your encapsulation. Okay. So, what is encapsulation? Anime Sahu. Ankit Raj. This is the situation of the first class after the offline class, first online class. Huh? Chittuband. In offline class also you respond like this. Mehul.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
What do you mean by encapsulation?
Ma'am, we use encapsulation to hide sensitive data. सुन नहीं रहा मैम को.
Just a second. The voice is breaking. Okay, tell again.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Rohan. Rohan Harichandran.
Yes, ma'am.
What is encapsulation?
Ma'am, to hide data.
Are you talking? Are you speaking or not? Yes, so wrapping of the encapsulation, you can say encapsulation groups together data and methods that act upon the data. Okay, so those methods required to access those data. So that data and those methods are wrapped together or grouped together. That is called your encapsulation. Okay. So how we can exhibit encapsulation? How we can implement encapsulation? So using the access modifiers. Okay. your private, protected, all those using access modifiers, we can exhibit your data encapsulation. Okay. So we can say this encapsulation works on the principle of hiding. So hiding you can exhibit using your access modifier private. Okay. So also it is showing only one example that encapsulation of some items. Okay. So this is the food item and what this food item contains. So all those ingredients. Okay. So that is the encapsulation one example it is just showing. So in programming, in technically, if we say that is the combination of a data and methods. That is your data encapsulation. So what are the advantage of data encapsulation? Advantage is that, like I told you, in case of your procedural oriented programming, so when we are changing some global data, okay, in procedural oriented programming there is global data and local data. So if we declare some data global and we are accessing those data and modifying those data, then we if many methods are there, okay, like 20 30 methods are there, then we can't easily know that which method is accessing which data, or this data is used in which methods. Okay. So that encapsulation gives you the clear visualization that display method is there, get data method is there, and get total get marks method is there. Then these methods are using student name, registration number, marks. So that you can clearly know from that encapsulation. And also encapsulation gives you data hiding feature. Okay, by using access modifier, private you can hide it, and protected, using protected you can hide up to some level, like in case if an immediate child class can use it. So using access modifiers or specifiers, you can exhibit this data encapsulation. Okay, so in your book, this is one example that's showing you the encapsulation example. So I think you have not forgotten the Java syntax. We will do some program, and if you have forgotten, then again I'll start from your scratch. So class demo encap. This is the class name. Okay. Then this is the access modifier, specify private in SSN value, then private in employee age, private string employee name. So these are the three data members. Okay. Now next, these are the methods. Get employee SSN. So using this get employee SSN, it returns the SSN value. Then get employee name, so it returns the employee name. Get employee age, it returns the employee age. Then this is next is the set method. So using the set method, it takes the employee age. Using the set employee name, it takes the employee name. Similarly, SSN value. So these are some get and set method. So this first portion, okay, this class declaration portion, class demo and cap. Okay, so this class contains these data members and these methods. Okay, so this is the example of your encapsulation. This is encapsulated. This is that this data member and these methods are wrapped together. Okay, inside this class, this is wrapped together. So this is your encapsulation. So from this, we clearly know that employee name is using this employee name method is using this employee name data. Is get employee age method is using this employee age data. Okay, so we know that these are the only methods they are going to use this data members. So which is not here in your procedural oriented programming. So according to that, you can do the modification, you can do the changes, you can find the errors, so everything will go easy. Next is the declaration of your main method. Okay. So in your object oriented programming in your Java, it is better you should you should use minimum of two classes. One class for the main method and other classes for the functionality. But the as many class you will use, that will be better, give you the better structure. Okay. So public class test encapsulation, public static void means string. So I'll ask you why it is public static void, then string args. So everything I'll ask you one by one, and also I'll explain why these keywords are used here. So first we will focus on the encapsulation, then we'll discuss all those. So next is the object creation of this demo encapsulation class. Okay. So demo encapsulation cap obj equal to new demo encap. Okay. So this thing you know how to instantiate one object. Okay. So when you are writing this new demo encap, so it calls the constructor, and your constructor instantiate or initialize the object and gives the memory space. Okay, now object is created. So if you simply declare demo encap obj, that we can say this is the reference variable. Okay, so when you are creating this obj with this new demo encap, then we call this is the object. Okay, so reference means only the declaration of that name. Object means you are giving, or it is occupying some space. Then call these methods. So how to call these methods is the object name obj dot all those methods. Okay, so here it is passing those values. Those values are initialized here. Then next it is printing all those things, name, then SSN code, then the age. So it gives one simple example of encapsulation. How it is how the data members and methods are encapsulated, and how we are using those methods and using those data to those methods. Okay. This is a simple example of that. So while you are sitting for these online classes, so you should ready with your editor. So as we are discussing the Java now, so you should open your Eclipse. Okay. I'll ask you to execute the programs, then you have to execute it. Okay. So this is one simple example. So you have to execute this program without seeing this. Means the question is you have to take one employee class. Data members are SSN value, employee age, employee name, and methods are so 6 methods are there. 3 methods to get these 3 values, and 3 methods to display or return these 3 values. Okay. In one main class where you will take all those values and display all those values. Okay, so all of you execute this. So we'll start from this simple program. Then I'll give you other programs. So all of you execute this program. If you are in touch with Java programming, then it's very good. If you are not in touch with Java programming, then you must execute this program. So same practice we continue like in your offline classes. We are executing the book programs. Similarly, we execute one by one your book programs. Then some extra programs I give you that also you have to execute. So you execute this one. Though already this is in your book, don't do the copy paste. Again I am saying, you just do it without seeing the program. Just see the program, what is being done here, then you just type it by yourself and execute it. So all of you safely restart your home. Sachin, Sanjog,
Yes, ma'am.
so though this is a very simple program, you may think that what is this in this program, but you must start with this. So respond to your names. I'm taking your attendance now. Soumya Sri Biswal,
Present, ma'am.
अभी सभी का वॉइस सुनाई देगा. अनुष्का दास,
Present, ma'am.
विपाशा दास,
Present, ma'am.
just a second. Ayush Prasad, Ayush, absent. Anish Kumar, Anish absent. Subham Das,
Present, ma'am.
Subham,
Yes, ma'am. Present.
Soumya,
Present, ma'am.
Abhijit,
Present, ma'am.
Abhishek Puri,
Present, ma'am.
Roshan, Roshan, Falguni, okay, Roshan, Falguni,
Present, ma'am.
Rajyot,
Present, ma'am.
Rajyot,
Present, ma'am.
Angana,
Present, ma'am.
Aniket, Anisha,
Present, ma'am.
see, after taking your attendance, I'll ask you to share your screen for this program. Sanchali,
Present, ma'am.
Satabdi,
Present, ma'am.
Siddhant,
Present, ma'am.
Arnav,
Present, ma'am.
Arnav Dutt,
Present, ma'am.
Arpita.
Present, ma'am.
Okay, so next class onwards we'll do one thing. So while I'll take your attendance, you have to make your video on. Arpita,
Present, ma'am.
Arpan, Diya Kiran,
Present, ma'am.
Geetika,
Present, ma'am.
Harshit, Harshit absent. Present. Manas, Manas Ranjan Biswal, Kamlesh, Kasmik,
Yes, ma'am.
Sasank,
Present, ma'am.
Mehul,
Present, ma'am.
Sanjog,
Present, ma'am.
Abhilasha,
Present, ma'am.
Sambit, please respond. Sambit Mahapatra, Ankit Raj,
Present, ma'am.
Nishchay,
Present, ma'am.
Priti,
Present, ma'am.
Rajesh, Raktim,
Yes, ma'am.
Present,
Ma'am, Raj is present.
Raksham is present.
Ronak, Raktim, what you have done with your DP?
Ma'am, new DP.
Huh?
New DP.
New DP? तो इसके ऊपर क्या है?
मैं वैसे ही लगा ली.
एनिमल बनने के लिए इतना मने? रौनक, पुष्पेंद्र,
Present, ma'am.
पुष्पेंद्र,
Yes, ma'am. Present.
आदित्य,
Present, ma'am.
ऋतिक,
Yes, ma'am.
Roshan,
Yes, ma'am.
Zehnabaj,
Present, ma'am.
Animes,
Present, ma'am.
Subham, Vaibhav,
Yes, ma'am.
Sachin. Subham Kumar is present.
Present, ma'am.
Sachin,
Yes, ma'am. I'm present. Yes, ma'am.
पहले बुलाया क्यों नहीं रेस्पॉन्ड किया? सुभजीत, सुप्रीति,
Present, ma'am.
सूरज,
Present, ma'am.
सूरज प्रेजेंट. शुभम पटनायक,
Yes, ma'am. Present.
श्वेता, प्रेजेंट एब्सेंट. उदित नारायण,
Present, ma'am.
पुरुष आलम,
Present, ma'am.
विवेक शर्मा,
Present, ma'am.
अंजलि सिंह, सत्यव्रत बेहरा, आदित्य नारायण मिश्र, आदित्य नारायण मिश्र, रोहन हरिचंदन,
Present, ma'am.
चित्पल,
Present, ma'am.
अनन्या, अनिमेश अभिनंदन,
Present, ma'am.
अंशुमान पटनायक,
Present, ma'am.
श्रुति कीर्ति,
Present, ma'am.
आयुष पटनायक,
Present, ma'am.
निखिलेश बेहरा, रौनक कमलेश, श्वेता, आयुष के साथ के तनीषा, कितनी सारी मार्क्स के प्रेजेंट. Completed that program.
Yes, ma'am.
So those are not completed. Complete within 5 minutes quickly. Only in the chat box.
Ma'am,
Yes,
ma'am error ଆସୁଛି.
error ଆସୁଛି.
Neha. Yes, sir. Arda. Subhashi, sir. Udayaranjan. Navakishwar.
Okay. I'm sending you the quiz link.
Kiranmay Mishra.
Okay. See why? Because today is your 1 hour class. Your class is suspended from 2 o'clock onwards due to one of your professor, physics professor, has passed away. So from 2 o'clock, this class is suspended. So I'm taking your quiz now. Just check whether this link you are able to open or not.
Mohammed Ayman.
I have posted the quiz link. Are you able to open it?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No. I'm setting it.
Soumya Ratna. Anjana Singh. Lucy Tanaya. Vijay Singh. Rama Singh. Ritesh Chan. Sai. Akash Swargi. Meena Patna. Priyam Vijaji. B. Sudhirashri. Neha Sarkar. Vijay Swargi. Vishal Bharti. Samyan Surya. Mohan Kalyan. Aditi Nayak. Mahek. माइक तो सारा काम कर रही है ना नहीं हम माइक के बाद और ये भी ऑनलाइन चीज बात
Okay, so you check it now.
और कॉलिंग मारी और राइट
Check it now. Again, you click on that link.
no
Yes, ma'am, it's working.
Okay. So quickly respond.
so we have done this
Satsang, it is not opening.
anybody have done this other done this from us any problem doing taking some time you will find fast button you will find that particular position of square that all the elements left to lesser all the elements better to the and next what you do the left hand side you take the final element
So quickly respond within 2 minutes.
two partition you will do then you stop.
Yes, ma'am, it's opening.
Okay. So respond quickly.
Second pass means second time the quick shot you want when you stop. Second time quick shot means one quick shot you are considering one partition. Next pass means another partition you need to do then you will be playing that. Second, so that means so here actually you will find that you will find the position of 12 will be all lesser than will be this side, all greater than will be this side. We find the position of the 12 here. Then take these are you want to consider. one more participant. If right says are eliminated,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, actually I got disconnected. Can you please refund the link?
What you are saying?
Ma'am, actually I got disconnected. Can you please resend the quiz link?
Your voice is breaking. What you are saying, just type it. Write it.
okay, so all of you will do it and next class then I will consider the time sensitive analysis of this screenshot.
Okay, she is asking about the link.
And also the question was for how to take the fiber element and it will faster using the fiber element. Why is that faster using the fiber element? Why do you take the any element that take the fiber element? All the answers are yes. How you consume the fiber and how using the fiber element raise the input load time. Okay. So thank you. Just in the next one. Which slide? Yeah. Second one. Okay, thank you all. We will see you in the next class.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, after submission it will show your score.
Is it showing your score?
It's showing 0.
No, ma'am, it's not showing.
It's not showing. Okay, so that I'll manage. Okay, so one mistake I did here, so that's why it is not showing you marks. But your answers, I can see your answers. Okay, so don't worry about that.
Ma'am, can I discuss the answers?
Uh-huh.
Ma'am, after quiz, can you discuss the answers?
Answers, yes.
Okay.
The answers are very easy. So, so all of you please submit. I'm going to deactivate the link. I'm going to deactivate. Quickly respond. Okay, so I'm deactivating the link. So I deactivated the link. You can submit now. तो 2 मिनट में एक मिनट भी नहीं लगेगा इसमें. Okay, so the answers, first one is which of the following options leads to the portability and security of Java? That is bytecode is executed by JVM. Then which of the following is not a Java feature? That is use of pointers. Then Java is a programming language and a platform also. This is true. Then Java has a platform called JIA. This is also true. Okay. So these are the answers. So according to that, you think your marks, and that I'll also give you. Okay, so for today's class, as the class is suspended already, the notice is out, and according to that, from 2 o'clock onwards, classes are suspended. So you will stop. Okay, thank you. You may leave now.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.